not being reliant on the 3-point ball. Was today just an example kind of finding another way to win despite maybe the shots not going in as much as they have recently?
Yeah, I didn't even see. Oh, yeah. Look, these are small sample sizes. You just have to do whatever you have to do, to get a win. And each game might be different. You don't have to shoot 53s to win a playoff game. But maybe the next game we'll have to. I don't know. But the disposition was where we wanted it to be. First quarter set the tone for the game. Just in terms of the activity level, the multiple efforts, finishing our defense against a phenomenal offensive rebounding team. So when you see them getting offensive rebounds or second chance, tips and all that stuff, I thought we did a good job today, and they still ended up with some. But that's what you're dealing with in the playoffs. You just have to figure it out and find a way to conquer it and get a W.
Obviously, Jimmy returns. It's a boost. It's natural. He's such a good player. But, I mean, in what aspects did you feel it with Jimmy being back, and how did that sort of open it up for the rest of the guys?
Yeah, you can't put an analytic to it. It's just the overall confidence level your team has, that you can always get the ball to them and know that we'll get something efficient and coherent. But in the meantime, we have a bunch of guys stepping up. We're more dangerous when a lot of guys are putting their fingerprints on the win, and that's at both ends of the court. But you need a guy like Jimmy also, when you're playing against a good team, like this.
More on Jimmy, Eric. Can you sort of assess just where you thought he was physically? And I know you said thigh and the on-court.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, he's fine. He's not even icing that part of it. It was like one of those stingers that you just need like 3 plays and then it wears off. He could have gone back in, earlier. He even told me. He said, if this thing gets, to whatever, put me back in there. And we kept on making some plays, to keep them at bay. And then it finally got to 14, and then you can't mess around with it. But he was fine and ready to go. And that's what you have to respect about the players on both sides. Everybody's putting themselves out there. It's just great competition.
Just flipping the matchups with Brunson and RJ, just what did you like about what the defense did early, and specifically with Jimmy off ball, just kind of helping off in those pick and rolls instead of being in them?
Yeah, we'll do whatever matchups we feel like are necessary. That's what we went with tonight. I just think overall the first quarter disposition was more important than the schematics or strategy or whatever, but we were active. And I thought Bam was a major part of that. He was all over the place, both ends of the court. And the stat line probably doesn't do it any justice of the impact. To be able to take a challenge on a great player like Randall with limited help, and then Randall's so clever; he knows how to draw fouls as well. So you can't be overly physical. And then we're also asking him, to play pick and rolls, and then rebound and finish our defense. He's our best rebounder, and we need him to do that as well. And he did all of that. And then offensively, he was just so active on the offensive glass, the random stuff in the paint. And some of these didn't lead to his scores, but they set the table. Just that aggressiveness, for our team. And, that's why he is who he is. He's just a winning player.
There's some different personnel and coverages throughout the 3 games, but since that first half of game 1, and the Knicks just had 36 in the paint today, what's been different about the way you guys are protecting the paint and limiting attempts there?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easier said than done. They're a great attacking team. They're a driving team. They know how to get to the free throw line. They're relentless. They don't stop. So it's not like if you defend it 10 straight times that they decide to get passive. No, they're aggressive. So you always have to be on, all 5 guys. You can't glitch. You can't blink. You can't not be in your spots early because they also have shooting, and you got to be able to do multiple things. But again, that's what you're dealing with in the playoffs. You're not dealing with, average teams. This is a very good team. You got to figure it out.
You went with the all-bench group to start the second quarter, got a 12-2 run. What do you like about what Kyle and Cody Zeller gave you and Haywood and that whole group?
Yeah, I think, one, we have trust in those guys, and they've been a big part of what we've been doing. But it always can be make it look easier when you have a Hall of Fame point guard and some veteran experience out there with those guys, so they can get you settled and get you organized when you need to. But they were really inspiring. They gave us a big time boost. So the starters set the tone, but then the bench was equally as active and efficient offensively. And Cody was really physical and smart in his minutes. Gave us a presence at the rim and on the glass. Even when he wasn't actually coming up with the rebound, he was just big and, active and creating, collisions that ended up being team rebounds. And then Kyle, as that kind of quarterback with a second unit, we just don't take that for granted at all, because he's just really special in these kind of moments, playoff moments.
The way Max got started, again, he had that back bruise. He pushed through it. He came in. And what he did for you when you talked about early and setting a tone and that good start, how important was he for setting the tone of the game?
Yeah, he was. And he does a lot of good things, defensively too, just with his physicality, his blockouts, and pursuing rebounds. Even if he doesn't get it, he can tip it out of somebody else's hands. And offensively, he gave us a really big spark. He's a competitor. We knew, and we will continue to know against this team. We need a lot of guys putting their fingerprints on these games, and that's what Max was able to do, in his minutes tonight.
Just as far as stuff you might see going forward, how do you think you handled all those doubles on Jimmy early on?
Yeah, at least we've seen a lot of that, and he's developed his game so much that, he's been able to find ways to be efficient in a lot of different areas, off the ball, on the ball, in the post, catch and shoots, in pick and rolls. And you need your best players to have that kind of versatility, because if they're going to try to take you out of something, you can get to other stuff, but that ended up getting us some good opportunities for the other guys, and that's really kind of the result of a lot of times when he was in the post, doubled by other teams during the regular season.
Yeah, you mentioned how Bam affected the game by hitting the boards on both ends. Just what did you think about your team's overall physicality and how that, led to the success on defense?
Yeah, it's good, clean competition, so I think it's tough physicality, both sides of the ball. So much of this series, yes, there are schematics. You have to be responsible to that. But so much of it is ball in the air, ball on the floor, and Bam set the tone for our team tonight for sure.
Spo, there was so much talk this season about the team shooting, struggling, and you guys obviously shot very well against the Bucks. It hasn't necessarily been on fire this series. What does it say about the way that you guys are able to win games? Is it just the defense? Is it just the way that you guys are able to fight, box out, and let them, kind of take them out of their game?
There aren't absolutes when you're dealing with, short series samples. This is not an 82-game sample. You just have to figure it out. We've had enough experience finding different ways to win with different lineups, different guys in and out, playing different ways offensively. I think all that's irrelevant. You just got to figure out how to compete at a really high level and what's necessary for that game to be able to win, and we were able to do that tonight.
Going back to the fourth quarter.
Would be the last one, right?
Yeah. Just going back to the fourth, when you're deciding when to bring Jimmy in the game, is your philosophy on that? Are you focused on a time and score situation, or is
He and
this
I
more
probably
of a gut
are
feeling?
fully on the same page about that, as much as I've ever been on the same page with any player. Even when we were, trying to just get them ready, for this playoff push and whatever that was, January, February, March. We're trying to control his minutes. We're totally on the same page about that, not bringing him back, fighting both of our instincts. We can be our worst enemies in this situation, but we've been in enough of these. We also trust our second unit, and if we need to do something like we did tonight, it's not like a monumental deal. Put him back in the game. He was planning on going back. We had a conversation about it, and also like that group, you want to show confidence that they can take a 15-point lead to 20. Which they did, and then New York is good, so they fought back, and you're forced to make another move. That's playoff basketball. All right, thank you.